Affect my work, although it's
Rise.
weird.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is Red Chat today.
Lead us in prayer, please.
Heavenly Father, we come to you with humble hearts, and we ask that you give us wisdom as we make decisions that affect our community. We ask you to bless and protect our employees, police officers, and first responders. And we thank you for the members of the military, both past and present, and ask that you keep them safe. Lord, we will always be aware of your presence in everything that we do. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
All right, well, Mrs. Lynch will not be here tonight. She's not feeling well. So,
Make a motion to excuse him.
Second.
Oh. Bennett,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Richards,
Yes.
McKinney, yes. Taylor,
Yes.
and Schott.
Mr. McKinney has volunteered to help me out with that, so that's good. Okay, so minutes. Yes.
Motion for the minutes. Bennett? Thomas?
Yes.
Richards?
Yes.
McKinney, yes. Haley?
Yes.
And Schott.
Abstain.
Bill?
Motion for the bills?
Second.
Bennett?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Richards?
Yes.
McKinney? Yes. Haley?
Yes.
And Schott.
I have a question. On page with the checks that are still open. Anybody can answer this, can't they? No.
What is it?
Well, I think we gotta look at it,
What page is it on?
Very last one.
Oh,
The last one talks about your checks that are open. We have the one to the treasurer of the state for $1,636 for outside kilowatt hours. I would like to know if that is actually, is that a penalty for outside kilowatt hours?
No, we pay them so much for outside every month.
Oh, for our consumption, of outside? Is that what
They
it
put
is?
that on quite a long time ago and made us do that.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm
is
saying
it for
though,
what we use?
Is that the penalty for having more outside people than in-town people?
No, it wasn't a penalty for that. It's a penalty on how many kilowatts and all that you do going outside of the city.
So it is a penalty. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
You might be right, George.
yeah, I think they called it a fee or something. I've seen the paperwork before. I don't know if they called it a
So
penalty, but
okay.
that's basically what it is.
So we pay $1,636 a month because we have too much outside
The
electric.
big utilities made us pay that because they didn't have to pay it and they didn't like it that we were doing it inside the city so much too.
Okay, I'll-
Debbie could give us a
I'll
better
ask
answer on
Deb
it.
about it. That just caught my eye.
It seems like there was a penalty when we sold more outside than what we brought in, and they had some kind of regulations on that, protection.
Well,
the
one time
utility-
there was
the
too
big
much
u-
being sold.
The
That's
big
what-
utility companies got mad because we wasn't paying none of this, and they had to. And they went down and got it changed, so we had to pay it too.
I'll ask Debbie about it. I appreciate your answer.
That's the best I could do.
Yeah, I'm
anyway.
hoping she'll be able to explain it better for me. Thank you.
Are you gonna abstain or?
I will.
Oh, okay. All right, hourly workers' time report. Okay. Everybody got one?
Yes.
Fireman's time.
Motion for the fireman's time?
Second.
Bennett,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Richards,
Yes.
McKinney, yes. Bailey,
Yes.
and Schott.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Ron, we'll do the clerk treasurer report.
Okay. We'll get the first thing she had here. She had a meeting with the head auditor on it is on 8/20/20 at 9:30 a.m. Masks are required. She sent in $50 donation to Crossroads Hospice in memory of William
Wannick.
Wannick, previous BPA member. Received. The Medicare project is signed.
It's hard to read, isn't it? Well,
It's
she
on
types
hold
it.
until 2021.
Right.
So the Medicare project assignment is on hold till 2021. Legislation. Sorry reading her writing. I'm sorry, Jim. Okay, we have ordinance 2009. It's an ordinance accepting and approving the 2021 budget for the Village of Beach City. This is your second reading. We have ordinance 2010, an ordinance to revise the rules and regulations governing electric, water, and sewer account match, billing, and collections, and authorizing the cancellation of utility debt owed to the Village of Beach City, which originates prior to the year 2015. This is your first reading.
That would be just the thing you used to have, I guess, with the modifier.
Let's see, that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Mr. McKim. Mr. Barnes.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Barnes is here from Meals on Wheels, guys. He's came here to talk to us. You're on the floor. buddy.
I'm on the floor.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
first of all, thank you everybody for having me tonight. As he said, I'm Jay Barnes. I'm the director of Meals on Wheels, formerly of Stark and Wayne County. We rebranded last year, merged with the group in Akron, and we are now known as Meals on Wheels of Northeast Ohio. I want to give you a little back history about Beach City and our services down here. I started with Meals on Wheels 6 years ago as the dietary manager. At that point in time, we had about 15 to 20 clients in this village that we serviced. As time went on, we noticed it was kind of dropping off and we were losing volunteers in the area. And as we were losing volunteers, we were losing clients. I think a lot of that has to do with when you're dealing in a community like this, a lot of volunteers were from here, so a lot of the clients from here knew the volunteers. And it was kind of a, a two-way street type thing. Let's fast forward to today. I have 2 clients in Beach City that we service and 0 volunteers. I know that there is a need in this area. It's what we like to call a food desert. There's not a lot of places for individuals who are of need of food to go, specifically your elder adults that can't get out of the home. Without giving out too much information per law, we did get a client, yesterday, today's Monday, this morning, we got a phone call from Adult Protective Services for a client here in this area. We will start servicing that individual. Part of the issue that we have had, we served 5 days a week in this community, and we served a homemade hot meal. So every day we would come down, we'd hand a client a hot meal that consisted of, it could be homemade macaroni and cheese, homemade sloppy joes, to pastas, to whatever. Well, as our volunteers dropped off and our clients dropped off, we've been forced to go to one delivery a week, and it's a frozen delivery that we buy from a secondary vendor. And I think that has a lot to do with part of the issues here. So me and John have been talking back and forth and wanting to see what we could do together to try to pick up a volunteer pool. I would love nothing more than to go back to hot meal delivery in this community. I think it's something of importance, especially to the individuals here. But in order to do that, we need volunteers. We need individuals who are willing to take an hour out of their day. We're right up in Masson off Nave Road. Pick up a set of meals and come down here and deliver. I've made deals with other municipalities where the volunteers don't even have to come back. They can leave their coolers. I have a place over by West Salem, Ohio, that we deliver to, and they leave the coolers at a fire station. And then the next day, somebody picks up the coolers, takes them back, and there's a whole nother set of coolers that we send meals out. If we can get volunteers in the door and the volunteers say, hey, I can come up and get the meal and I can deliver, but it's really a stretch for me, especially if they work, to get back to work and I can't get the coolers back, we will do what we need to do to pick those coolers up. But I guess what I'm saying is I'm depending on you guys as leaders of this community. I brought flyers to kind of put the word out. Let's see if we can drum up some more volunteers and clients. That's, going from 15 to 20 clients down to 2 is not a good sign. And we want to continue servicing this area. We just need help. We need a lot of help in the area. Any questions for me or?
Is there a cost to that?
Pardon me?
Is there a cost?
It depends. So since I've been there, what it used to be was a donation-based program. I shouldn't even say used to be, it still is. But we really didn't have any parameters set for if somebody was not 65 years of age or older that was eligible for that donation-based program that wanted meals. So what we've started now is we have private pay, we have other insurance, we're working with insurance companies now, we have private contracts, so it all depends on the client. The client has to call in, or a representative from the client, and talk to our social worker, and we do an assessment, and give us their information. It could be based off of income, it could be based off of age, it could be based off of their condition. Like the gentleman we're starting the service, it was based off of condition. In that case, then typically the state picks up and pays for a majority of those meals, or the federal government if they're of age with the Older Americans Act, or if they have insurance. I have a lot of clients that have insurance, and insurance companies will say, we'll pay for 5 meals or 6 or 7 meals a week, and the insurance pays for it all. That's the one big thing that we've noticed is with insurance companies, hospitals started getting penalized for readmissions after 30 days. So they went to the insurance companies and said, hey, we need your help because we're getting penalized for letting this person go, but then they go home, they don't have food in the cupboards, they get weak again, they're not healing, and so they're coming back to us, and we're getting the penalty for it. So now insurance companies are starting to pick up. Insurance companies are now paying for transportation to and from the doctor. They're paying for meals. In some cases, they're paying to put clothes on their back, depending on how bad they are. So we're dealing in all areas of that now. We've had to work through Direction Home in Stark County And Direction Home actually is also over Wayne County. They do both counties. And that's basically who our big funder is and who most of our contracts are through. And Direction Home is the one that most of the clients will come through there with their social workers.
You know, the frozen food, is that like every day you bring it down, or do you bring it down for a week?
It's one delivery a week, so it's a 5-day box, or we can get 7, that's a 5-day or 2-day box. Here's what I will say about it. Here's what I'll say about it. We are in the process of working right now. We just purchased, I don't know if anybody's seen in any of the newspapers, it was in a couple articles, we just built a huge freezer. Part of the reason we did that is we just put a new assembly line system in the kitchen up there. That assembly line assembly line in the kitchen, what we are wanting to do is produce our own frozen meals. I do not like the quality of the Traditions meals. It's a secondary vendor, right? I want to be able to tell clients, if our only option here is to give them a frozen meal, that hey, it's the same hot meal that you got. We just froze it for you to put in your microwave and reheat. And I can control the nutritional values. I can make sure they're not high in sodium. I can make sure they're diabetic friendly. I can make sure that they're renal friendly or whatever it may be. By serving a frozen meal, you get what you get. You get what I can buy from the vendor. Right now, in the times of COVID, I got one option instead of 5. So these people are seeing the same option over and over and over and over again. So my goal is, on our end, to get a better quality frozen food. We are 50% up and running, and we have inventory in our freezer as we speak now. But the second goal down here, volunteers, clients, and I would love to go back to serving hot meals. So what I brought today, a couple flyers. This is for you guys to look at. This is an Adopt-A-Route. This is for any businesses in the area. We run a program called Adopt-A-Route. Basically, a business comes in and says, hey, once a month we would love to run a route. And they adopt a route in the village here, and we deliver. They come up, they pick up, we deliver. This one here talks about our meal program. This talks about what a typical meal is, home deliveries, congregate dining. We do have congregate dining sites, but unfortunately we do not have any in this area down here. Also, I think it talks about our frozen meals, the different options, vegetables, all that good stuff on there. It talks about price ranges for private pay, and if a client is on a donation, it talks about the donation. Now, with the donation, we've also started what we call a sliding fee scale. We ask for a $3.25 donation, but if you do the math on that, you know, some people can't even afford $10 a month because everything they got coming in is going right back out in what bills they need to pay. So we look at their income level, and then we do a sliding fee. We have some people that their donation is $5 a month. Some people we have is nothing because they can't afford it. So that's another program that we started. And then this one here, this is called Let's Do Lunch. This is talking about anybody that wants to deliver meals, volunteer to deliver, and is not a business that just wants to step up and deliver. So this is another piece of literature on that. A lot of this stuff can be hanging up. If you got local businesses, grocery stores, you know, if you want to set them out here, we don't care. We're just trying to drum up and get this going again in this municipality.
Where you at on 8th Street?
Okay, do you know where?
State Hospital, the back end of it?
Well, the State Hospital coming back towards RG Drag. If you look to your right-hand side, there's a nursing home. Directly after the nursing home, there's two buildings. One's the IBW local union, and then there's Meals on Wheels. We sit in the parking lot of IBW.
So you're on the other side of the road that comes back into Massillon?
Yep. Yep.
Towards Drake?
Towards Drag. Actually, if you're coming from Drag, we're the first driveway on the left.
What day and time do you have people pick up?
We
So
pick-
I'm here twice a month, and I
Okay.
drive down from Canton, I can just pick it up, but it'd be like 6 o'clock or something.
Well, see, our delivery is, we ask the volunteers to be there 10:45.
Okay.
And basically it's 10:45 to whenever the route's done. Typically, like this route here, when I used to run this route, when we were really low on volunteers before we decided to go to frozen meals, we were still doing hot meals, I could turn this route in an hour. I mean, it wasn't, you know, it was not, you know, the most of it was driving from Massillon to get here, and then, you know, in the area. We had, I believe, I gotta get my bearings about me, I believe it's over here, is there a nursing home or an older adults?
On Brewster.
Yeah, okay,
Brewster.
this way, okay.
Angle Terrace.
Yes.
Oh, you're talking about, okay.
Yeah.
Good one here.
We had like 4 or 5 of our individuals were right in that general vicinity, so you were stopping, going, you know, and basically you knocked out half your meals in
Right.
5 to 10 minutes right there. You know, it was not hard.
And the volunteers get
Mileage reimbursement.
mileage reimbursement,
Yep.
so that way then.
And we realize you have wear and tear on your
But
own
still
vehicle.
though, I mean, you
Yeah.
know, it depends on whether you want to do it.
Right. So, you know, I'm just, if you guys can put the word out for us, if you can hang these up, you know,
How many, say we got 10 people down here, how many people would you need to have volunteer? Or
Well-
Could you bring them all 10 down at one time?
uh,
I mean, it wouldn't do, right? I mean.
well, typically, we do one route. So if you had 10 people, and, you know, if one let's say, out of them 10 people, you guys split it up, or even teamed it, one driving, one getting out. That's one day a week. If you did 10, that's one day every other week. So, you know, it's not
Not a big deal.
not a big deal. If we went back to hot meal delivery.
Volunteer.
Yeah.
Oh,
A hot meal delivery would be a daily thing then, right?
It would be a daily thing. But I'm going to go out and say, we would need at least 15 people to step up and say before I could feel comfortable saying, yes, we're going to go back to hot meal delivery. Because what happens if she gets sick or he gets sick and then can't deliver the route, right? I'm going to be right back in the same boat that I was, where I'm pulling staff that are supposed to be doing administrative duties or on the floor cooking to go deliver that meal. You know, and this is a problem, you're the third area I've talked to. This is a problem across the state of Ohio. This is a problem across the country. The volunteer pool right now for all Meals on Wheels or any volunteers is slowly dwindling and dying. People are working longer. They're working to, you know, to longer ages. Their companies are demanding more. You know, their lunch breaks are no longer an hour, they're a half hour. So, you know, it's becoming more and more of a challenge. So the best thing was, let's get out and talk about it and see if that doesn't work. You know, the last thing we want to do is go to an all-pay driver model, because quite frankly, it saves me $2 million a year on our annual budget. Now, if I got to take and get rid of 400 volunteers, which is what we have through 3 counties, and as those volunteers dwindle, there's going to be a line in the stand where I'm going to have to say, okay, we can't be volunteers anymore. I'm going to have to hire paid drivers. That's an extra $2 million. So now I got to incorporate it into that cost of that meal somewhere, and all it does is penalize the individual that needs it, right? We're not getting the funding from the state level at this time. Hopefully we will.
Right now, you have frozen meals. You pick up 5 frozen meals for each client for the whole week.
Yes.
What do they do for Saturday and Sunday?
Well, so here's the thing, and that just depends on their caseworker, that depends on the insurance company or whoever. Some clients may get 7 meals for Saturday, Sunday. But if their plan or their insurance or their caseworker says, well, we've done an evaluation and Miss Jane says that she has a daughter that comes over and she doesn't need food on Saturday, Sunday because she goes out to dinner or whatever, then we only need 5. Now, we do an assessment quarterly on all of our clients. One of the first questions is, we ask, and do we get 100% factual information? No, but we ask, do we? Because that gives us a good trigger of, okay, you've had our meals for a quarter, and you're still losing weight. You've said that you were at this, and now you've had a 10-pound weight loss. Now that's a red flag for us to call the social worker and say, hey, I just talked to Miss Jane. We only put her on 5 meals a week, but she's lost 10 pounds. So then the social worker they can go more in depth than we can. They do a more in-depth assessment to say, okay, let's jump it to 7. I have some clients that get 14. You know, it all depends on what the social worker or what the recommending body back to us says they will pay for, is what we give them.
And you get most of your clients through Direction Home.
Direction Home or health, the health insurance companies or some sort of referral base like that, yeah. So whether it be United Healthcare,
Are all these meals, they're marked, right? So that you know where they're delivered.
yes, yeah, so what we have is a very integrated program, actually. We are all on tablets, so whoever comes up to deliver, we will give a tablet. We do a quick training on it. We have a program called Mobile Meals. You sign into that program, and let's say the route down here is called Brewster 1. And
We're in Beach City.
Or Beach City 1, I'm sorry, I'm thinking Brewster, because that's what we used to be on, Beach City 1. So we would run that, and that will pull up your list of clients. So when that pulls up your list of clients, it's gonna tell you stop by stop. And if you don't know where that's at, like me, for the first time coming down here, I knew how to get to 250 from here, and I knew the main drag, that was about it, right?
And you thought you were coming to Brewster?
Yeah, that was coming to Brewster, yeah. So we basically took and uploaded Google Maps, took all our clients' addresses, put them into this database. So now whenever a client comes up, you just hit directions, and it automatically speaks and gives you directions, turn by turn directions. Once you deliver that client's meal, you hit the button that it's delivered, put your initials, and it automatically pulls the next client up, and you just go again.
Right now, today, how many volunteers do you have down here in the city?
None. 0. We've lost them all.
So we don't service anybody.
We service 2 people out of here
Two with frozen.
with frozen on Mondays
And that's certain for the whole week.
for the whole week. 6 years ago, we were doing 15 to 20, and we probably had 8 to 10 volunteers. Now, and the reason I said Brewster, we had a site in Brewster, and the meals are coming out of Brewster. But if anybody knows, Brewster and Massillon, did it make sense for me to keep paying rent and keep a small kitchen going for 10 people? Because Brewster, we weren't servicing hardly anybody either. So that's when we decided to close that facility, take it all out of Massillon, because it's not much further. You know,
It's 10 miles from where you're at, 11 miles to here.
right,
And this is usually picked up at 11.
yep. And I'll be honest with you, most of our volunteers, 65, 70. I have a lady that's 82 years old right now, still delivering. I have maybe 10 individuals that's, we'll say 40 and under. I have none that's in the 20-year age range. And we've reached out to high schools to try to get high schools like community service type thing. You know, is there ag programs, is there, RG Drag, trying to partner with them, is there something? And with all the legal ramifications of kids being, but most of your individuals that are in that working group, well, let's say 21, out of college, 21 to 45, 50, and I mean, we do not have a lot. That's the range where everybody's going to work, and we just don't have that pool. And most of our senior, long-term, most of them, we've lost 20% because of COVID. I can't blame them. They don't want to get it. They don't want to come out of the house. But most of the other ones either, unfortunately, we've had some that's passed away. We have some that it's just, they can't do it anymore.
Did you have trouble with insurance for the person that's doing it for you? You're paying them 58 cents a mile?
For, what is it on there, 40 cents a mile, I believe?
Ooh,
40
you're
cents?
cheap.
Yeah. We're an not-for-profit.
It's a volunteer.
Yeah. It's a
I would-
volunteer
I'm
program.
just telling people are getting 58 cents a
How
mile.
would you ain't gonna make?
I would
money on
actually
this?
sign up to do that, but I can't carry the meals.
See, and that's just it. So you would sign up to do that. When you sign up, you say, I can't carry the meals. That's where we find a partner. You know, if you can find a partner to go with you, where you can just drive and have a partner that is the runner. And, yeah, and carries meals. You know, that's the things that we're looking for is, okay, I wanna do it, but how can I get creative to do it? Because I can't carry the meals. Or, you know, I wanna do it, but, you know, I need somebody to go with me because maybe I'm on oxygen, you know, and I can't, the heat, you know, it really gets to me or whatnot. That's what we're looking for, is, you know, the creative piece. But back to your statement, we could pay more if we had more clients and we had more volunteers. That's just the bottom line.
Yeah.
You know, my revenue, as it goes down.
You're actually with Summit, because I've seen the thing on television about it.
Yeah, we merged with Summit a year and a half ago.
That's right.
Yep, so we've basically doubled, we went from 2,000 individuals to 4,000. And Summit County is all paid drivers because it's all inner city. We have 0 volunteers in Summit County, none at all. So that's why we're trying to keep the pool going on down here, you know, at Stark and Wayne. We're rural, I'm from Shreve, you know, I grew up in Wayne County. I have a center in Shreve, I have a center in Worcester. So my goal has always been to take care of our rural communities. You know, we have people that need this food, and we have to keep it going. You know, I don't wanna start saying we can't service areas. One of the other things though that we are working on is shipping meals. You look at Simply Fresh, you know, you can order a meal online and have it delivered to your doorstep. You know, we're gonna start looking at that too, which should help with our volunteer issues. Once we get that going, and John, I'll let you know, that is another flyer that I'm gonna send down here, because maybe we don't have a volunteer pool, but maybe we concentrate more on the client pool, and once we start shipping meals, we can just ship them down here. You know, put them in, they'll be here in a day, and they'll be delivered right to them.
Do you have trouble with the people using the microwave to be able to get their meal warm?
Not necessarily. What we've ran into is some people that don't have a microwave, and my social workers, they put out an email blast to all our employees, who's got an extra microwave sitting around. I have 3 microwaves right now sitting in my storage for clients that don't have a microwave, that we will load up and we will take to their house and we will plug in and show them how to use it. That is, I go through the Goodwills, I go through, you know, wherever, if I have, you know, I'll pay $5 or $10 for a used microwave that works, just so I know that we go to somebody's house or they need meals and they don't have it. You know, we see all sorts of things. For the fire department here, we come in on people that's heating their homes with gas ovens, oven doors hanging wide open in the winter time and wrapped in a blanket. So, you know, then we call, you know, whoever we need to call, utilities, commit, whatever, and say, hey, you know, we have this person that, you know, has no heat, obviously, and they're heating their home with a gas oven, the door hanging wide open and wrapped in a blanket. You know, it's humbling, makes you thankful for what you have, sometimes when you see how some people are very unfortunate, so. But yeah, anything you guys can do, I'd appreciate it. You know, I would really love to get back to more clients down here servicing volunteers, and that would be great. I'm gonna leave a stack of my business cards, my contact, feel free. Email me, call me if you guys have any other questions, and I will try to answer them to my fullest.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Yep, thank you.
Any council complaints?
Do you want these, John, or do you want me to leave them here?
Yeah, we can leave them there, I'll put them up on there with Cindy. All right, which one goes first today, fire or police? Don't matter, Mr. Side.
I don't need anything. We've had,
Oh, there you go.
see, take it easy.
That's 2 weeks in a row.
Not because of the week before that, I had all sorts of stuff for you.
Well, yeah, but that was, you know.
I gotta let things cool down a little bit. Our calls have increased. We've been pretty busy. We've been dealing with a couple residents in town. The 2 that we've been dealing with on a daily basis. Just about, one down by the mayor's house has been yelling and screaming and cussing at my officers and lets their dogs out or their dogs get loose all the time, so that's what it's about. She has now been charged with a M4. It's usually a misdemeanor for dog at large. It's now a misdemeanor in the 4th degree, which means we can arrest her for it. So once she goes to court for that and everything, she'll have to register her dog as a, there's different statutes on what she had to register her dog as and have it in a fully enclosed pen, and we'll keep going from there. Another individual we've been dealing with is just needs help, and we're trying to work with APS and as many different services we can to get the individual the help that he can, us in the fire department. And we've now included Steven in on this, trying to get him some help and working with various agencies, so that's been taking up a lot of our time. Other than that, we're just moving along.
All right, thanks a lot, Chief.
If you hear if anybody had a set of keys that they missed, house keys, I got them. There's 2 keys.
Okay.
They were sitting on, in the alley,
Oh,
over here.
all right. Yeah, we hear anything, I'll let them know. Okay, Chief Anderson.
Calls year to date, 163. Total calls for 2019 was 154. Going along with what Chief Geick just talked to you about, the same individual that we're trying to get some help for 5 times in 7 days. We've been out the door 5 times in 7 days, and the guy definitely needs help. I'm not going to go into too many details, but the condition he lives in is not good, and the conditions we find when we get there are definitely not good, especially where he lives. We could have a big potential problem on our hands, and we need it addressed quickly because it could be really bad. So they're working on that. I just found out today they got a meeting. If I can make it tomorrow, I'll try. Anyway, mutual aid summary for the last 2 weeks. We give mutual aid to Brewster once, received mutual aid from Brewster twice. We give mutual aid to Wilmot once, we received mutual aid from Wilmot once, and we received mutual aid from Erie Valley twice. Now these mutual aids from Erie Valley, I talked to Cody Post today at Red Center. They are, I don't know what they're doing. I wasn't happy when I talked to him. He knew that. They are to tone Brewster. If we do not turn a crew, they're toning Erie Valley. And I don't have a problem with that per se. But the biggest problem is Erie Valley is more than likely going to give our residents a hard bill. And it's not their fault that we don't have a volunteer crew available at the time. And it's definitely not their fault that they toned Erie Valley instead of Brewster or Wilmot. So me and Cody were on the phone today. I hope I got that problem addressed, but that's happened twice in the last probably 2 weeks. And Erie Valley comes into town, and then they're going to unfortunately hard bill our residents. So. And there's nothing I can do about it. But I've done everything I can to keep it from happening anymore. So that's our mutual aid summary. All 4 of the big trucks are back from Advantech. We did go a little bit over on our quote. We had several valves that had to be replaced, some switches, whatnot. I will report that as of now, all 3 big trucks, all 3 passed the pump test and the vacuum test. 131, the older pumper, is back up to par where it should be. It's good to go, and the rescue obviously don't have a pump, so it don't have a pump test. One of the downfalls we did have is a few days after we got them back, we went to take the tanker over to Brewster to do a water movement, and we blew a brake chamber. So $70 to Dover brake. I wasn't too happy, but that's something that Advantech obviously can't check and can't tell us is going to happen. It's one of them things. But it's fixed. We fixed it in-house. Dan McDonald fixed it and kept the repair cost to a minimum, so it's back in service. My son Corey that joined the fire department, he had his FBI BCI background check. It came back. Everything's good there. He goes this Wednesday for a fire department physical and drug test. We do know now that they will not provide a pulmonary test as of right now because of COVID. So what we will probably have to do is, once things straighten out, the ones that go and do not get this pulmonary test, which is the breathing test, we will probably have to send them back because I believe they have to have that for their fireman's training.
That's what we had the trouble with. The other guy didn't want to go take that, right?
Yes, and I'm going to bring that individual up also.
Okay.
So, but he will go this week, and once everything clears Wednesday, we'll have him running. We'll have another member. He of course will have to have his training, but we'll get to that. On that note, also Dustin King, the individual you guys put through fire school at Erie Valley, I'm happy to report He passed his firefighter test last Tuesday, so he is now an active firefighter, and able to help us in more capacities than what he could, and we congratulate him for passing his test. The Ladies Chicken Barbecue, the drive-through, we sold out on that. We really appreciate what they do for us. A lot of our firemen were there to help. We sold out. We did exceptionally well. We're actually talking with everything going on with COVID and not being able to have our bingo. We're actually talking about maybe doing a monthly or maybe a bi-monthly chicken barbecue drive-through to try to subsidize our funding. Obviously, we're hurting just as anybody is. We have no income coming in, and the chicken drive-through worked out really well. So we're looking at that. We'll probably plan here at our next association meeting, see how our body feels about that, and maybe some ideas that we can do along with that. So
Bill, let me ask you a question on the bingo. Besides what you got in the main thing where they draw, could you put people out in the fire station and still keep them 6 feet apart?
we could, but here's the problem. We had bingo halls in Stark County that opened back up. We were actually going to have a meeting last Monday and determine how we could open our bingo, and the same day the state stepped in and said absolutely no bingo. I don't understand the rules. I don't understand their logic. You can have a casino and they're allowed to do what they're allowed to do. You can have a wedding with 300 people, they're allowed to do that, but bingo falls under the no more than 10 in a group rule, and they won't budge. So North Lawrence has had to shut their bingo back down. Richville will have to close theirs down. Everybody in Stark County and as far as I know is in the state is going to have to reclose.
Well, I
their
thought we
bingo.
came down to a level 2 where we could do some of that stuff.
I don't know. This come down from the state of Ohio and it's through the Stark County Health Department, which is who we run through, and we are not allowed to do anything until
Okay.
further notice. So,
Because the casinos pay taxes.
well, and that's probably it. I don't know.
Everything else.
I don't understand the COVID. I wish I did. I don't know. I don't even like to talk about it. I'm so sick of hearing about it, but it is what it is. So that's what we're looking at to maybe subsidize our money.
Good, could you cut the chicken down and make 2 legs instead of the white meat? I can't.
You gotta trade off the white for the dark.
Yeah,
I need
yeah.
to
Why
trade
can't
off.
you trade out?
Yeah.
I actually talked to our cook. He's a fellow named Hostetler Barbecuing. Talked about quarters and stuff, and he suggested to me to stick with halves. He said it appears, he's an Amish fella, he had said it appears the Amish prefer the quarters and the English prefer the halves. He said they haven't had good luck except for in the Amish community with the quarters. So, I mean, we could try it, but I think what we're trying
the
to do
chicken was
is,
good, except I like dark meat and I don't like white.
well, you're gonna have to trade with your boy or something. You're gonna have
That's what I
to say,
They
hey,
ain't
you
all
need-
that.
Oh, well,
Buy 2 dinners, keep all the
Yeah,
dark
buy
meat,
2.
and donate the white meat to somebody who needs a meal.
there you
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
Perfect.
Yeah. He wants all legs.
I'm giving you an answer. It was great chicken,
We
by
we
the way.
can look at it. Obviously, we're trying to be as simple as we can because it's hard to hold what we used to hold in one day in a few hours. It's hard to do that. And the way we designed it this time, the Ladies Social Assembly, it was perfect, absolutely perfect. And I mean, it was a great deal, and we thank them for everything they do for us. So, and ultimately, that money will eventually come to us, which in turn will benefit the village also. So it was a good time.
I
think
tried.
everybody worked and had a good time. So I'm going to go back to the individual we talked about 2 weeks ago, and that's Mr. Donnie Hall. I do know he is interested in running. I talked to our guys. They are definitely willing to have him back. And the thing we got to remember here is, like I talked to John today, well, first of all, right now they're not offering the breathing test, and I'm not bringing this up because of that. I didn't know that until today, until my boy went to do his. So he would have to go back. My suggestion is this: if we take Donnie back and we put him on a probationary period, obviously, to make sure things are going to work out. If he does take his breathing test and he cannot pass it, in my opinion, all that would limit him from doing would be to wear an SCBA. That's the purpose of the breathing test, is to wear a respirator or an SCBA. We've taken guys before that we know they can't drive because of their driving record. We keep them from driving. If this is the case, my suggestion would be if he does take a breathing test and does not pass it, and as I said, right now he cannot take one anyway, but if he does take a breathing test and does not pass it, my suggestion would be we limit him from packing on a fire. But we could still use an EMT for sure. He's an EMT, he's already active EMT. He's an active firefighter, and there's a million jobs on a fire we could use a fireman for that don't have to have a pack on their back. So my suggestion is to you guys, I would like to approve an FBI BCI background check for Mr. Hall. Pending that, I would also like to approve the physical, and I would like to get Mr. Hall back on a probationary period. And if things don't work out, then we do what we have to do. If he's on probation, I don't see where it should be an issue if he don't work out to redo what we've undone. Do you understand what I'm saying? We shouldn't have any issues to get him back
Let
off.
me ask you something on the breathing thing. If for some reason he went out to help somebody and they needed him to blow into somebody's, he couldn't do that, could he?
We don't blow into anybody's mouth.
Okay.
We
Thank you.
do not do mouth to mouth, and I don't mean that in a rude way, but we have.
No, it's okay.
We have BVMs and everything else. We are not going to give mouth to mouth, especially in today's day and age. I mean, don't get me wrong. If it's my family laying on the floor, you bet your butt I'm going to do everything I can to save them. But if I'm going out on somebody I don't know, number one, I'm in the truck that has a BVM. We're not going to do mouth to mouth. It's all mechanical. So that is my suggestion, and I'll let you guys decide on that. Or if you have any questions or any opposition to what I would like to do, I'm all ears before I go for
Well,
what I
let's
need
stop
next.
right there. What's the rest of you think on that one? Any problems?
I'm okay with it.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and,
FBI BCI, $65 for now, and then we'll need a physical.
The key is the probationary period, Franny. We've been through that before with people, and they don't have any rights, you might say.
What's this gentleman's name?
Don Hall.
I didn't want to wait, I wanted to get it done before.
So no, that's good.
I'll second it.
Do they have outstanding money that they owe for city fees or equipment or?
That, I
He did
believe,
not, did he?
I believe his wife does, but we would have to clarify that with Debbie, but I believe his wife does. I don't believe it was on him, I believe it was a training that she had went through and didn't keep her into the deal. And, yeah, we would have to clarify all that through Debbie.
Yeah, that gives me a little pause. Throwing that out there. Nothing against him, just,
No,
I think that's something we need to check into, you know.
You'll take care of that part then, Bill.
I mean, I can look into it. I mean, I can't promise that I can get anything done with it. I mean, you know, I don't know what to even say on that.
But that one billing that he gets on that truck and makes, because we don't turn a call over, justifies that. Doesn't make it right, but if you're just looking at dollars, your dollars are back, if you will.
That's
That's what I'm saying. Depends on what you're
I'm
looking
more
at.
looking at the principle of the thing.
Okay, it depends on whether we're holding a grudge, or if
No,
we're
it's
looking
not
at a
a
business,
grudge.
which it is.
the biggest thing we need to look at here, okay, is, like I said, the training that we've already put what he put into himself. We didn't even train this fella. He come to us trained. We have no money into him per se, except for this money that was put into. It wasn't even him. It was put into his wife. I'm going to tell you, volunteers are scarce, and if you got somebody wanting to run, if he comes back the way he come in the first time, we got one heck of a firefighter EMT that's going to provide to our residents.
And you're gonna keep an eye on that too. We talked about that before.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely, and that's why I'm saying on a probationary status, so I have the ability to. I think the guy eagerly wants to come back. I hope his personal situation has changed and he has the time to do it. He assures me he does, and that's all I can say. And if it don't work out, then we can, on a probationary status, we can reverse it just as quick as we change it
So
back.
Bill says we win some and we lose some.
How long is probation?
Probation normally is a 6-month probation. We could do whatever we want. We could do a 6-month, we could do it. I mean, in 6 months, if it's not working out, then we just,
I was just wondering how long it was, I wasn't sure.
that would be my suggestion, a 6-month.
Finish the roll call.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded. Bennett,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Richards,
Yes.
Yes, McKinney, Bailey,
Yes,
and Schott.
Yes.
okay.
I thank you guys, and like I said, I will definitely keep an eye on it, I'll do what I can do. The last thing I need, and I hate to even bring this up, I brought it up to John earlier. We have a copier, printer, scanner in the chief's office. This thing was bought back when Casey was chief. It's going on 6, 7 years old. It's on the fritz. I'm gonna need to replace it. I have to have that. That's used primarily for our billing and for EMS reports and stuff that come to Debbie. I do know that we can get it cheaper on a discounted rate going through Staples, through you guys' account. So I wanna get with Cindy. I didn't get with her today because she was swamped with people coming in paying her utility bills. I would like to get with her, but I would like permission to spend, and I'm gonna go high, I'm gonna tell you, we can probably do this for half, but I'd like permission to spend up to $500 to buy this new copier, printer, scanner for my office over at the fire station.
The old one got a number on it?
The old one, no, it don't have an inventory number, it must
You
not.
gotta have an inventory number from something.
It never got inventoried, I guarantee you that.
Oh, the new one have to.
I will, I'll make sure it's inventory.
You have seconded, she made the motion over here.
Okay, second.
Okay, Bennett,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Richards,
Yes.
yes, McKinney, Bailey,
Yeah,
and Schott.
Yes.
I will do everything in my power to buy the cheapest thing we can get, but we have to have it. And like I said, I can click print or try to scan something right now, and it'll take 10 minutes of clicking and making noises before it does
you
anything.
don't have to buy the cheapest, buy good.
Yeah, buy a good one.
Well,
Buy a good
I'll
one,
get,
but
I'll
not
get
the
with,
best one.
I'll get with, Cindy tomorrow. We'll go through Staples and we'll see what we can get, so. And that's all I got, unless you guys got something for me.
Nope.
How about giving some money this way?
Money this way. But I wish we had money to give this way. Money coming this way is getting scarcer and scarcer and scarcer. To the point that I don't, if we don't start doing something with,
Yeah,
I don't know what we're gonna do.
gonna start.
Sell more chicken, John.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, if everybody would come down and support us,
I'll
Mr.
buy more
Hartman.
chicken.
Well, by the time I was ready to come. you
It was
sold
gone.
out.
I got a
Yeah,
phone-
so-
I know.
Well, I got a phone call Saturday from Chief's wife, and
I might have
I just, I'll
some
just
of
write you
that.
guys a check, I was,
Oh, I saw some familiar faces
oh,
there.
yeah.
Congratulations on everything going so well.
It went really well, and like I said, the congratulations goes out to the ladies, it does not go out to us. They did a super job putting this thing together, and like I said, we'll ultimately be the beneficiary of it,
They
so.
do some.
Nobody hit anything, Franny.
Nope.
Went accident-free, Franny,
Right, I'll tell you what, I've
nobody
heard about
hit
that.
nothing. I've had more guys back into the building with a fire truck than we even come
We
close to
had
getting over there.
cones up and everything.
I thought it was really well done, very,
Absolutely.
We
very
had
safe
one
and
person
very
that-
easy.
That couldn't see too good, but when it was outside, it
Oh,
went well.
couldn't be too good.
All right, thank you, chief, appreciate it. Administrator.
All right, got a couple things. Third property we're looking at for the Targeted Acquisition Assistance Program, that's been processed and approved. They don't need anything more from us. That's the one down here at 303 East Main, just the bottom of the hill across from Gordon Snyder's. I just got on Friday the invoice for Leak Seekers, which is the company that was in the village here a couple weeks ago, for leak detection for our water system. They found a few of them, but I just finally got their invoice, so as soon as we get that paid, I'll get their report and how much those hydrants are leaking. There was only 3 of them. There were no main line leaks, which is good, so there are only 3 hydrant leaks.
Greg, the yellow lines that's going down the alleys
Yeah,
from the streets, is there a reason? Is that the gas company?
that's gas painting. There was a gas leak detected when they were here down by your property, down here.
Okay,
They detected it, they came in, they worked on it, but that's them coming in marking lines, so they know where their line's at, and there's probably some other
lanes
stuff.
go all the way up the alley, up to the next street.
Absolutely, because they didn't know where they had the leak at. They ended
Okay.
up finding it, but they had marked from this point where they smelled the odor up to where they found it. So they marked through there and they had, all their utilities were marked too. So that's what that's from. I have 3 backhoe invoices. I contacted John Deere, Case, and Cat. They range in price. I have all of that here with me if anybody wants to look at it. I'm still waiting from John Deere to get back with me on their government pricing. But as it stands right now, the one that's gonna be the most feasible as far as from a price point is gonna be cat. And over the course of 7 years, we talked about this, John, where you can actually do the same pricing percentage wise for 1 year up to 7 years, and at the end of that 7 years, if you want, or 5, whatever, you can buy it for $1. Cat's probably the best. I have all of that here, if anybody wants to look at it.
What's the monthly rent?
Monthly, for which one?
For whichever one you're planning on getting.
For cat, cat being $95,454 over 7 years, be $13,636 for the year. So you're looking over a little over $1,000 a month. At the end of that 7 years, though, it's ours. Or if we wanted to, get a new one, go back into it, trade down on whatever. So there's differing warranties with all of these too. If anybody wants to look at all that stuff, I have all that information here. Speaking with the gentleman that does the majority of our maintenance on things, he suggested that we don't go with Case, which is what we have now. And Case actually came in as the highest one. Case was actually about $102,000 for what they wanted, and over the course of 5 years, it would have been $21,614 per year. So I'm not looking at that one as hard as I am the John Deere, which came in at $88,000, and the Cat, which came in a little over $95,000. Those were the two that I'm kind of looking at right now. And that's with a cemetery bucket and with forks, in case we ever have everything delivered on pallet, that we can actually we can use it for that. And that's also with loading salt and everything else. But with that also being said, like I said, I have all that. Right now, we're looking at $2,780 to put a new radiator and a used fuel tank in our current backhoe. So I said this 2 months ago, where it's just, you're just gonna keep going like this with money, with the backhoe that we got. That being said, that needs to be done. So we're having that done with ours, and we own that one. That old Case that we have, we can keep it as a backup. But those are the three options. I have, like I said, I have all of that if anybody wants to look at it. It's all the specs, everything, the pricing. John Deere.
So we're gonna do the John Deere, we're gonna fix up the old backhoe for the
No.
radiator and whatever it is.
No.
Tank?
No. Right now, on the back of that, we have the $2,780, which I received an email from the gentleman that's gonna be doing the work. It had to be a used fuel tank, because they don't make them anymore. Same with the radiator, it's an aftermarket one, they don't make those anymore. We have to have that done in order for that backhoe that we have right now to work. The John Deere, I have yet to hear back from, I need to, about their pricing right now. So that $88,000, they could say, we're only doing 4 years. It could be more than what the actual Cat is. Cat is the one that is the lowest out of all the three so
The
far.
John Deere, then council will have to approve it because
That's
it's
what
more
I'm,
than 50,000.
that's, all of them are. I mean, all of them are more than 50,000. That's why I'm trying to be as transparent as I can with all this information, what I'm needing to get.
And you wanna take that over 7 years?
I would say as long as we can, yeah. That way it's not as much of a financial burden on the village as possible, the least amount, in my opinion. So,
Looked at any pre-owned?
pre-owned, yeah, I have, and I got probably 6 to 7 of those. They're in the $70,000 to $80,000 range. None of them have warranties on them. They're pretty much, you buy them, you got them. So say something goes wrong in the first 2-3 years on something that's 3 or 4 years old. I like the fact that with these, a lot of them have 3 to 5 year warranties on them, either hours or amount of time you've put on them.
Where's the John Deere at? Close?
Yeah.
Plus, you don't know.
It is in-
The used ones, you don't know how bad they've been. beat
Raff
up.
Road,
You don't
Canton,
know who
Ohio.
ran
No
them
problem.
How they ran them.
The one from, the John Deere is from, it's up off Raff Road. Southeastern is where the Case will be coming from, and a Cat one will be on, North Canton, I believe, up off of Apple Grove.
As long as the service is good, that's the main thing.
That's the biggest thing about it, and there's warranties in here if anybody wants to look at this stuff, I encourage you to. But a lot of it is the specs for them, everything that comes along with them, weight, axle weight, all that. But the government lease purchase rate for Cat, which is the best, goes up to 84 months at 3.19%, which is better than you're gonna get. I mean, Cat seems to be the way I wanna go with that,
The
and,
one from Cat at 88,
Mhm.
wasn't that 88?
no, Cat was 95,454, 95.
Which one was 88?
That is Deere.
Deere, and that's the one you wanted to go
That
with?
is not the one I wanna go with yet.
You wanna go with?
Because I haven't got back what their purchasing options are through Deere. Waiting on that. Cat, I have that. They've said that you can extend it out over the course of 7 years. being at that 3.19% rate.
And that was 90 what?
95,454.
95, and that's what, 15 more than the used one?
They're not, all of them are brand new,
No,
all three of them.
you said previously owned one
Correct.
was between 70 and 80,000,
Depending on which one.
No
I could run six of
guarantee.
those.
and no guarantees.
No guarantee, there's nothing on it.
And the one you're looking at is 95, so that's 15 more,
Mhm.
if you look at the high end, than a used one that you don't get any insurance with.
Mhm.
And how many years or hours is this one covered for?
The cat is covered for,
Probably goes by hours.
yeah, there's standard warranty, which you can get other ones too. 12 months unlimited hours, full machine, all standard warranties include travel time, mileage for the first 12 months. Now that's with cat. Now, your one you have with case is a little different. That's why I'm saying, for me to sit here, we could be here for 4 hours if you wanted me to explain it all, but certain ones have different warranties and different extended things. For the
Look it
John.
over and bring it back up to us, okay?
Okay, if you want to know anything though, all this stuff's here, you guys can look over all of it if you want to at any time. There's also an option with the John Deere one. There's, like I said, there's different ones. With the John Deere one, there's a 36-month, 3,000 mile, or sorry, 36 months, 3,000 total hours warranty that they have. So they're all just a little different. There's just a couple little different things that they do with them. Now, I will say that over in Bolivar, where I live, I would like to talk with them at some point. But they're a third-party gas contractor. They have John Deere, the same John Deere that I priced out. I'd like to see what they think about it. So.
See how it's held up for them.
Yeah, and Cat's a good name. And the guy that we have servicing our things worked for Cat for 11 years before he's doing what he does now. So those are the two that I really like to look at. With going used, I think it's maybe a good idea, but there's no guarantees with anything used. And this way, at the end of it, we have the option to buy it for $1 at the end of the 7 years with the Cat and also with the John Deere. So at the end, you can buy it, or you can trade it back in, knock your price off a new one, keep going that way too. So those are the three. If anybody, like I said, if you want to look at them, I think it's going to be between the Cat and the John Deere. The case, which came in way over what I thought it was going to, I actually thought it was going to be the cheapest, ended up being more expensive by almost $10,000.
Talk to them people about it and see what they think about the John.
Yeah, there's that. What else we got? I signed the paving agreement with Quicksall, who's the engineering firm, which when we start paving out here from the bank down here, just signed the paving agreement with them that says we're going to pay them what was already figured in to that whole thing that we got, the whole shebang with the paving. They had the design and engineering part of it for what they put into it. So it's not gonna cost us anything out of pocket. It's already figured out.
That's all straightened up with the county on the
Yeah.
bid?
It
on the
was
bid and
already,
everything?
it was in the bid proposal. So
Okay.
all that, I was just signing it to make sure that we're still going forward with it. So we'll be looking to bid that out.
When was that coming up?
We're not gonna bid that till probably November
Okay.
because,
So you
there's
want to
still-
do it next spring then?
Oh, yeah, we can't do anything
Okay.
until, there's no way, because that's actually, their deadline's December 30th or 31st of this year to have a bid in place. And if you wait, do not wait too long, but if you do it too early, you're not gonna get the pricing that these asphalt companies wanna get
And that's
for
going
next
from
year.
the top of the town hill, the first part,
All the way down to the tracks.
to the railroad track. You're not going around the corner right now?
Not unless we have extra material, no,
Okay.
depends.
Was that part of 212?
Yeah, if we have enough material. We priced it out to be from the bank all the way down to Fifth. That was actually two separate ones. This one went from Second Street to Third, and then from Third to Fifth. So they were two separate. This one wasn't even included. That was the second one, which when I first contacted them, I didn't think that they approved, but they approved the second half. So if we have extra material, yippee.
Georgiana, do you got any question on that, where we're gonna go? Anybody?
On the pavement?
Yeah. Okay. Brittany? Okay, so the first phase of it's gonna go from the top of the hill up to the railroad track.
They're doing it all at the same time. It's not gonna be two different times. It got put out as two different bids.
Oh,
So I could, if I didn't get one, I was gonna get the other one type thing.
so you're telling me that it's gonna be taken from the bridge then too then?
That's for
That's the
next.
second bid.
That's, no, that's for next year.
Okay.
That's what's gonna be, that's already been submitted, so that's already, we're waiting to hear back from that. But when I'm saying two different things, from the bank to Third Avenue, from Third Avenue to Fifth. So I put it out as two different things in case one didn't get okayed, I was gonna get the other one.
Okay.
So instead of putting it all under one and then denying the whole thing, we're not getting anything, but they luckily approved both of them. So yay for free money.
Okay.
Trying to think what else. I have a virtual meeting. I don't know if this is gonna go anywhere or not, but we get, if we are gonna look into anything, community development, block grant wise, I believe it's next Wednesday from 9 to 10:30. You get 10% credit if you're gonna have any type of project done if you attend this virtual meeting. So I'm gonna do that. I'm not sure if we can or not because the way they zone things in county, if we're gonna be if we're eligible for any of that, but even if we are, it's literally an hour and a half of my time that I can get 10% extra on a grant if we decide to do something.
It's a good thing.
I'll be attending that also.
Okay. Did you call in an RSVP for it?
Yep.
Okay,
Oh, I do that every year anyhow.
okay. So that's, I think that's next week we have that. And,
26.
yeah, it's next Wednesday.
Yeah, we will also be attending that Hazel and
The sewer department, their truck, the transmission is going out of it. I'm not sure if it's completely shot or not. It's a 2001 Chevy. So it is 19 years old. I'm going to try to see what the extent of the damage is on it, if it's worth fixing or not.
What's it doing right now?
They were going up the hill the other day and they didn't have any gear at all, just whined on them.
Take a quart of the stuff out and put a can of Lucas in it, see what it does, I think.
Yeah, it may work. My theory on that is, I asked them why things haven't been maintenance, and their opinion was, well, the last village administrator said not to maintenance. So
Well,
they should.
that's what's wrong with it. A lot of stuff hasn't had maintenance done.
But trust me, I'm not really impressed with
But
some
at
of the
least
answers I get.
try a can of Lucas, just to try and see whether it works.
We'll see. I mean, it is a 19-year-old truck too.
I hope they are maintaining the new one they got down there.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
what I was just gonna say, I
Well,
hope
that's
they're
gonna have to
maintaining
be-
that one.
They are, and that one just went to the Ford dealership to get a, I'm trying to remember what was wrong with it. It's been going, trust me.
It's sad that he has
That
to
one
keep
went,
babysitting them. It's like,
for your basic
you know,
standard oil change, I think they couldn't get a spark plug out of it though, and they ended up, they took it in this, they have
It's not
that
that
one,
hard
the blue
to
one,
figure
yeah.
out.
So that's all I have.
No, that's enough, Greg.
A lot of
Thank you
maintenance
very
has been
much.
for years.
All right.
I know.
Have you thought about getting a list on your equipment, I mean,
We have that.
some idea
Yeah,
he
you
had
mean what
it.
we need?
as to when it will be needed?
You already did, oh, you.
I can do that, I
Yeah.
mean, we need a lot more than what we have. We need to start replacing things more than we neglect them or just forget about them.
Well, I mean, like each department and put down their equipment, and when you think,
Yeah, we had that.
Some idea.
We, yeah, I can do that.
I mean, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, well, each
When you
department,
think it's gonna blow up, right?
yeah, that's, yeah, take a guess.
A lot of these things should have blowed up a long time ago, like a backhoe. Well, we get
Yeah.
38 years out of it?
38 years.
And
That's amazing.
so you spend $100,000 on a new backhoe, are they gonna not maintain that and?
They got to.
No,
Oh, we got a new
that's-
administrator now, and we wanna make
Well, I'm
sure.
saying.
The thing that's sad is that
And I'm
the
just
people
using that
that,
as an
yeah,
example.
the people that are using, or the people that are using it, I don't understand, I mean, you know, he can't babysit everybody. Why don't they just do it? There
It's
should be
common sense.
some kind of a schedule thing.
John, they never had to do it, okay?
That's
They should
insane.
have
Well,
a check
that's what
every
we're
time
gonna.
they use it.
Yeah,
Every
we're gonna
time you
see
start
that.
it, you should have
You
a
would check
pre-start.
That's
Exactly.
even-
Inspection
Absolutely.
on semi.
Yeah.
Well, that's the same even with our,
Yeah.
that was the same with our generators not being, all these things that just,
Yeah. Yeah. they
basically
just-
not my job, not my, you know, it's one
I'm
of those.
guessing their
Good job.
stuff at home has been maintained
I'm
properly.
sure it has. They own that. Yeah.
Well, that's what happened with my garbage truck. I owned it. I rode it all the time.
It's still
I was
on
in the
road.
garage every week with it.
Yeah. So, Okay, yeah. Okay, well, Mr. Bavick, you're up and.
So,
you go for it.
two things. One was, at the end of last week's meeting, someone had asked, and I did put it in my notes, can a village employee also do runs for the fire department? And so I looked into this, and I don't think there's any compatibility analysis directly on point, but that's not a bad thing. In terms of the compatibility for a fire chief, that is compatible with a village clerk treasurer, a village street commissioner, and a township trustee. So given the fact that the person who would run the fire department as fire chief is compatible with all these different positions, not least of which would be a village clerk treasurer who's overseeing money, there's 7 questions that you would ask in the analysis, and I don't see how any of them would be answered against those 2 positions being compatible. So long-winded way of saying, yes, I believe that my opinion is that they're compatible, and you could have a village employee that's doing runs for the fire department. And like I said, the fact that a fire chief of a village can be the village clerk, street commissioner, or a township trustee, I mean, that's, I don't
You can
know.
do both.
Yeah,
Over the
Oh,
years,
yeah,
Steve, we've had this,
well,
okay.
a lot.
I will let Chief Anderson know.
Yeah, so, I mean, with those being compatible, and the 7 questions that you would ask, I don't see any issue. The other thing, probably more important, I know this ordinance with regard to the rules and regulations governing electric, water, and sewer had its first reading tonight. I had sent this out to council president, the mayor, village administrator, and clerk treasurer yesterday. It was intended to be a draft incorporating some of the guidance that I received from the mayor that came out of, I think, a committee meeting. So I was thinking it would be kind of a work in progress with kind of a first start, and I have copies for anybody that maybe hasn't seen it. Oh, you make copies?
They'll have
He
copies.
doesn't have one.
Franny don't have it.
Oh, here we go.
Well, give Franny a copy.
He probably thought it was white meat and threw it away.
So, like I said, I thought of it as kind of a working copy incorporating those first ideas that were sent to me. If there's anything that needs changed with it, feel free to let me know. I can make the changes to the ordinance, but and I guess if it's good, then even better.
You got some stuff,
No, I understand that you can only go back 6 years.
Yes.
Statute of
And there was
limitations.
a clause in there that said anything beyond 6 years was just wrote off.
Right.
Can we still collect before now?
Yeah.
Before this goes in on that?
Yeah, maybe I could, you mean if it is in excess of 6 years, can you, before you pass this ordinance?
Right.
I would say most likely not. It's a state statute, and it's a statute of limitations on an account. And an account is different from a written contract. A written contract has a longer period of time, but a written contract would have if you buy a car, and it's going to say in there, here's the total purchase price, here's the amount of the monthly payments, all of those truth in lending disclosures. An account, on the other hand, is a revolving line of credit or a revolving credit line where it changes each month and it's billed, and there's not necessarily one contract that everybody signs at a certain date. Instead, it's, like I said, a revolving nature. Those are 6 years from my research, and because of that, you could try to collect it, but if anybody challenged you on it,
I don't think there's anybody that's actually over 6 years anyhow.
I wouldn't think so.
Well, you've seen the list.
we were talking before you
Yeah, I mean,
came.
We'll check, I'll check with Cindy, but I can't see where it would be because, I
It
can't
was-
see it.
It was brought up
I'll
because
talk to Cindy
the
and see
people owe
if
the
she can go
bill.
back and see it. But-
And there is a way to do it. They're gonna be mad at us, I'll tell you
I
that.
don't care.
You
I don't
can-
care who's mad at us.
You can bring it up and give them their notice of 2 months, whatever it is,
You can't,
and they gotta pay the bill up, or we cut them off.
that's the way it goes.
I know it can be done, because we did it before, a long time ago.
Well,
It's
you
either
did
that or-
have something in there about that, the 10 days after,
That's after the new accounts are made up, yep.
yeah, it's that, or the the
That's
system
easy.
itself will become insolvent.
Right.
I mean, you'll have an insolvent utility company.
I would like you to explain section 9.
Extend or, you said,
Section 9.
No.
That would be on the 3rd page.
Third page.
extend it in what way?
No, explain.
Oh, explain
Yeah,
it.
she wants
Yeah.
to explain.
Okay, so ordinance 1705 was one that I drafted back when the village was having issues in 2017 with landlords that would place the utilities in the name of the tenant. So as soon as a new tenant would move in, they'd say, okay, you have to put it in the tenant's name. And as I understood it, there wasn't some formal application process that the village utility department had. So there was no credit application, or there was no document filled out that would say, my name is John Smith, my date of birth is January 1st, my social's this, my driver's license, all of that. So you'd get a John Smith or a Rob Miller who would move in, they'd be the tenant, and then they would never pay it, and at the end of the year, they'd move out. You'd go to the landlord, the village would, and the landlord would say, well, I didn't accrue any balance, that was my tenant, and I never agreed to it, the account's not in my name, it's in Rob Miller's name. And then the village was always chasing, I mean, at that point, it's impossible, you don't have enough information, you don't have a signed agreement, you'll never find them, you'll never collect it. So, this is just incorporating what was in that ordinance, which was section 8 about, it's the sole responsibility of the titled owner, meaning the landlord's going to have to be responsible for it regardless of who the tenant is. And then section 9 is prohibiting the transfer to any person other than the titled owner. The difference between this and ordinance 1705 is that the language in 1705 was specific to address, I believe, sewer, because that was the big issue. And in here, we're broadening that same language to be for all utilities, electric, water, and sewer.
And now all the bills for the renters go directly to the person that owns the property, go to the landlord. Then they can take care, they can either,
Yeah, it doesn't force the landlord to pay it.
No.
They could just go to the, and it's not uncommon.
And they're gonna be okay, because if the renter doesn't pay it, they're gonna get cut off and, so the landlord wouldn't get stuck with much.
Well, we're gonna put everything in the landlord's name from now on.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's what the thing in 17
The
was.
two of
Yeah.
them, you haven't been, two of you wasn't here. Could have been you, and you weren't here at the last meeting. See, what do you think of this? We're going after the money that's owed to us now.
Well, we're gonna do that
That's
too.
what, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a problem with going after money owed?
No,
to
no,
us?
not the amount of money we got coming, you're
Right.
right, we gotta go
I'm
after it.
worried about the people in this village that pay their bills. That's who I'm
But
looking
see,
out for.
he's talking about over the 6-year period.
Yeah, there's
I'm
nothing-
saying you give the people the 20-some days that you gotta give them, and if they owe $5,000, they just have to go borrow and catch up.
Oh,
Well-
no, we're not gonna do that to anybody. No, 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 no.
Yeah, the section,
It's in there.
yeah, if you look at section 3, it would, as long as they do their diligence and they come in, then they can meet within 10 days after the due date, or anytime before, for that matter, meet with the village administrator or her or his designated representative. They could sit down and demonstrate financial inability to pay and work out a payment plan.
Okay, let me ask, if they do not pay the payment plan, now what?
Then then it gets cut off.
Because if we go to court, we're gonna lose 40% of our money right away.
Well, they get cut off, and that's what we're gonna do. If they don't, and we'll let them know that, if they don't pay the bill and what they agreed to, it's just like not paying the bill, and they'll just get cut off.
Okay.
What about like in the winter with people, children?
They have-
Exception.
There's a rule against that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, there is a rule against it, but, send that one thing I give you.
Yeah, it's.
So
They
it's
have to make-
Accumulate, it's not free.
Yeah, they have
It
to
still
make a-
accumulates.
Oh, yeah, they have to
But-
make an
I
effort.
think it's, you can't, November 15th.
15th through.
Can't shut them
Right.
off,
Yeah, April
During the winter.
Right,
15th.
or people with health problems.
but they don't really wanna get way behind either.
Right.
You know, but yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna mess up any.
So in
kids.
other words, if they make the deal of every $50 a month, and it hasn't been paid within 2 or 3 months, then we can, by rights, cut them off then.
Yeah, that may be something that we would expand in the ordinance, would be to address the payment plan default.
Mhm.
It's not a bad idea.
What was the total amount that we got, that's owed us, John? 300,000?
No, I think it was 174.
175, was it?
In that neighborhood.
We have people who are 6, 7.
They quit
Yeah, if you didn't pay for it, they cut you off. I'm saying.
Oh, no, I'm paid.
I said if we didn't pay it, they cut us off.
Oh,
Yeah, I think there's some in here about the November thing, is that you have to notify them or something and talk to them about going on HEAP or something, if they're gonna
Right.
be.
You have to
Yeah.
notify them of any,
I thought the new thing was they get the 10-day grace period, and then they get an extra 30 days, but they still have to pay, and they still can be shut off if they don't comply with that.
yeah, they still have to pay.
Yeah, they should.
It just, I didn't look it up,
Because
but,
I know they changed that
Here it is, yeah.
state law, ORC or whatever.
yeah, they have to be made aware of all state and federal
Well, as long as
energy.
we got something in there that if they
Yeah,
make a
this is-
deal to pay
I
someone,
give this to Steve. It
that
says
they
here,
gotta pay it.
if you send, you have to send them a shut-off notice at least 14 days before disconnection. And then you're allowed, it says here, utility companies allowed to shut off services year-round. However, if electric or gas, whatever, during the winter months, company must give you an extra 10-day shut-off notice in addition to 14 days. And then we have to offer them a payment plan option to help them with the services. Then that way, then we, you know, they're not gonna get hit as hard.
And we
Still
also
can be
got
shut
to
off
inform
during
them of
the
all
winter.
the different
It's on them.
options they have.
Right,
They
yeah.
need to
And
take care
people
of
that
their
will
bills.
help.
Yeah, that's it, yeah, right here. And then we have, they even give me a place here where I can find the places where they can go. Yeah, we have the heat thing here all the time. I don't know why people don't come in for that, but
Supposed to take care of your kids.
instead of just, you know.
Okay, as long as it's in there on the payment plan, I'll go along with that.
Oh, I wanted to tell you too, that one thing, oh no, never mind, you're right. I did see the budget thing. No more budget. I think there's only 2 of them anyway. Yeah, she didn't want that. She didn't want to wait on the budget, so that's, she said it's a pain in the butt, so, yeah, that's fine.
So, other than that, I don't have anything, but if anybody has any additional input on this, feel free to email me.
I don't know if I dismissed it or what, but is there anything in here about the medical, where we have people who claim medical and then they just don't bother paying anything for the rest of their lives?
So, what I've put in there in section 5, and then again in section 2, is except as otherwise required by law. Because I don't think we're subject to public
We're
utility
not.
corporation
We're not
regulations.
under, we don't fall under CUPA.
Yeah, but there are some that do apply, so if there is a legal requirement that you not terminate during, say, winter months, then the ordinance would still comply with that. But rather than going through and trying to identify each and every.
It's like a blanket term that covers.
Yeah, right.
Effectively.
Yeah, because this, it says there, medical certification will delay a shut-off. So,
It's not gonna stop it.
It's not
Yeah.
delayed.
I mean,
delay it. I think right now,
Pay bills in.
John, did we have an ordinance number on this,
2010.
2010?
you know, I'm gonna send
Yeah,
that.
and that's why we're $200,000.
You're gonna look into that one thing, could you say there was some you?
I was gonna, I'll revise it to include a method to address payment plan default. And it'll probably be just, an additional section in 3.
Okay,
Okay.
I think we're still good, because you
Yeah.
could just give them a new notice and say you have 10 days,
right,
and then you're fine, but.
yeah. Yeah.
I guess I have just a question about section 9 too. What if someone owns the, like, what if someone pays lot rent? I mean, so the landlord is gonna be the person that owns the property, but then the person who owns the trailer, is gonna be someone else. So I don't know if we have to be that specific
Oh,
on
that's
the
a
utilities,
good
because I know, like, my lot landlord, you can't get a hold of him, so. For
Okay,
the utilities to always be in his name would be pretty pointless. But as title or, you know, the real property, the property's his, it's not mine.
what we could do is,
I just don't know if it needs to be that
We
much
could-
detail in there.
well, I think it's a really good point if you have, like, some mobile home parks are
Yeah.
one huge, whatever lot, and then people are just paying lot rent, and then they own the mobile home.
Mhm.
So it may be good if I add in there, other than the titled owner of the real property, or the titled owner of the
Manufactured. home.
manufactured home, if applicable. And then we've covered that, so it'll be one or the other.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah, because he does that, and then like, does he own anything else?
No, I think.
So it's just sort of like,
Yeah, I think that's their
Okay.
only property.
I gotcha.
And it's co-owned too, so, yeah. The utilities
See where
not
that could be a
ever been in their
pain.
name.
you should call him and see if you could buy it.
Oh, I wish, it's in escrow or something.
It's what?
Escrow or something.
The property?
Default. Yeah, I don't know, I don't know a lot about it, I just know a brother and sister own it, and the other trailer pays lot rent, and we pay lot rent.
Okay.
What's the, that's just out of curiosity. Well, that's okay, we can do that on the video.
Afterwards, I don't care.
The other thing on,
Because I would love to buy it.
Especially after you pass this and then you're dead.
I talked to Steve earlier about this, the thing about the $25 on it. That is, it's a law that go up to exceed, not to exceed $150, so we should put that on the new one. We'll have to make an ordinance, yeah, because it just says $25, and when I looked at it, not that I was planning on paying it late, but she told me, she goes, well, it's up to 6 months, and I said, I don't know what it said.
You're talking about on the
Is
tax.
that for
On the
utilities,
taxes.
for taxes?
Yeah.
Yeah, for your income tax. So I'll talk to Debbie and we'll have a ordinance to redo that or whatever we have to do. We have to do an ordinance for that?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll do an ordinance, make it plainer that, you know, that you will be fined $25 a month up to $150.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because this tells you 25.
Right, and
Just a
that
flat
just
fee.
looks like a flat
And then
fee,
the
and that's why I
letter says
told her.
$25 a month. and
Right.
They should
Right,
be the
it
same.
should be both the same, so we'll have Debbie fix that one
That's just
next
me.
meeting. And we'll have that
Trying to
done
finish up.
before New Year, so we'll be New
Huh?
Year's.
It's for big filing.
Yeah.
You have to pay it.
Yeah,
Really
really.
high, right?
We have
This
any,
year's should be, they should have said July.
We all
That
done?
doesn't matter.
we have any more
I guess.
concerns?
Just the one on,
She can't change it.
the report. Did you read, everybody read that
Mm-hmm.
on her birthday?
Oh, yeah, about Barb's birthday, 80 years old.
I didn't read that, that's pretty cool.
Okay. She's born 2 days after me.
So,
Bring cake to the next meeting.
No, it's Thursday and I'm done.
there you go. We didn't do that for your 80th, did we?
I'm not there. 2 days from now.
Yeah, in 2 days it is. I told him you should have brought cake.
Yeah, sure.
I do have a question, real quick.
I almost had the hammer down, too. I'm sorry, Franny. Franny's ready to go.
I know, it's getting late. And this is probably one for, the administrator. Did we pass that thing for the block grant we did, didn't we?
Yes.
Or we joined?
Oh, the CDB,
Stark
yeah,
County?
that's why they got, oh, yeah, all the paperwork, you got it back from them and everything, yeah, everything's good.
Okay, when we brought that up, we kinda did a quick, we agree with it and ran it through and that kind of deal.
We
Did
made an
do that?
ordinance on it, because I had to send the ordinance, I believe, to them, to Regional Planning, and then they sent back, signed and said that they, you know, that we're good,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that would have been this one?
I would imagine so, yeah,
I-
it looks like it.
I don't remember reading this before that come up to vote. Disagree.
Oh, no, we had it, yeah.
Did we have that?
Where'd you get that from? I'm gonna say,
Good question.
I'm gonna say,
Same.
I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm pretty sure, because I know she read, because we did the 3 readings.
I thought you was the one that said,
Yeah, because it didn't have to be done until, what, October or something like, I don't, there was a
no,
date.
it had to be
Yeah.
done with like, just a short time between our council meetings, and we,
Oh, no, because they sent that to me really early, if I remember right, because I think they give us plenty of time to sign up for it,
Just a minute, George writes down
I'm
everything.
pretty sure.
okay, this is the block grant, and we had the first reading, and it's number 2006.
Okay,
That would have been April the 20th.
right, we had all kinds of time. if I
And
remember.
then this one here was on April the 1st, when we got this paper.
Okay,
And,
I can check with,
Okay.
I mean, I can't see where we're gonna vote it down, I mean, all it is gives us free money for the next 3
yeah,
years.
that's, what I think all of us thought.
We had our first reading on 4/20.
Yeah, and it was, it was.
Did we pass it by emergency, or did we?
It does not say, it
Okay.
says first reading.
If we did, she would have voted no.
Well,
Georgiana.
But it had on here, immediate action required, it was April the 1st, and,
I mean, there's nothing that would be detrimental to us on that.
all copies should be returned to Stark County Planning by, June 7th.
Yeah, so I mean, we had lots of time.
But I came up with this paper, I don't remember us reading it, I mean, getting it.
Well, you might not have, but I'm sure we give it to people. I'm sure. And if not, she always reads the ordinances. You can always look at the ordinances before we pass them.
Well, there's things in this that if I would known, I would have voted for no benefit.
So you don't want any kind of grants? You don't want any grants then?
Well, I want grants, but there's a lot of things in here that,
Well,
Okay,
I
so
mean,
when you come down and talk to her, have her look it up, and if there's things in there you don't like, we'll bring it up the next
yeah, we can
meeting.
bring it up to Steve and, he can explain it to you, I guess. I mean, I can't see where they'd have something in there that would be detrimental to the village or would cost us anything at all.
I think it was, the ordinance authorized the mayor to sign the contract, and I think you have the contract there,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
Can you bring out what you don't like on that table at all?
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
well, we've already passed it, right?
Yeah, but I'd still like to know what it is,
Oh.
you know. I mean, I would, and then he
Things
could,
can always be changed down the line.
and also he can explain it to you. Yeah, I mean,
And
if you guys,
this is for 1 year. This
it's for a 3-year
It's for free.
contract.
Yeah,
For free?
free.
We've been with them for a long time. It's a 3-year renewal.
It ties us into, Stark County,
We are in Stark County.
well, I mean, within the jurisdiction of whoever, county commissioner, this goes to county commissioners, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the county commissioner,
Yeah.
right, yeah, that's part of Regional Planning.
So, like in, let me see if we kind of explain this. I kind of put a little yellow mark on that area there.
Yeah, the only note I have on 2006 is that we did first reading.
Okay, 15A and 15B. And 15A states, with respect to expenditure of program income, so money that the village receives from the program, the county and the village agree that the village shall inform the county of any income generated by the expenditure of CD, BG, and/or home funds received by the village. So if you spend the money to do some kind of community improvement and it generates income for the village, you would have to notify them of the money that was received. So and I think we're doing paving, so we won't generate any income from that. And then B is, any such program income must be paid to the county, or that the village may, upon consent of the county, retain program income subject to the requirements of federal regulation, provision of the CDBG regulations. So if you make money off of it, you may have to pay that back to the county, or the county may consent that you can retain the money. But I don't know of any program, any.
As of right now, but if we would go down the line and say that a block grant come up and we decide we wanna put some senior housing or whatever.
Right.
And it becomes an income producing item, then that leaves the door open that,
That you may have to pay the program income back to the county.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's intended so that they're not financing, they will finance community development, but I think there's a hesitancy to, and I think it's in the federal regulations most likely, is that they'll finance community development, but they're not going to finance revenue generating endeavors by political subdivisions.
Yeah, they don't wanna give us money to where we build something, say we build like a hot dog stand and it starts making money. They wanna get it to where we're not doing that. They wanna give us money to improve
That's
the
what's
village, but they don't want us to profiteer off of the money they give us.
Yeah, because
effectively.
So-
every political subdivision would then engage in money-making
Oh, yeah.
activities rather than,
So
Steve,
then,
when was that passed then?
I have it sent out of my email on April 19th, so I'm guessing, well, and I just want to see if it had,
Sometimes we read things and talk about it and forget
yeah,
to pass it.
it was not an emergency measure, so it should, the ordinance would have had 3 readings, but I'm sorry, I think I cut you off.
so then, if we could, or when any block grants would come up to do a program in town that would generally fund, they discourage you from doing that? It's more for whatever?
Yeah, honestly, it's, the 2 requirements are that you inform the county and that you may have to pay the money to the county, or the county may consent to the program. So what I would say is, if there was ever a desire to do a project like that, you could have the mayor, or you could have council president show up at a county commissioners meeting, explain it to the county commissioners what you're looking to do, and ask if they would be willing to allow you to retain the income. And I think that, I think they'd have a good understanding of community development, and if it was a worthy program, chances are you'd be able to work something out. That's just my guess, I'm not speaking for them, but it would be no different than if somebody came in here and they said, hey, I've got a project, I want to build it in town, it's going to do A, B, and C, can council work with me on it? Chances are, we like those kind of developments, and the answer would be, yes, or at least talking.
So that would be the step we would have to take if we decided to use those block grants for, let's say we bought the building next door, the restaurant.
Yeah, and that, assuming that we would have statutory authority to run a restaurant, which I'm not entirely sure that we would. But yeah, I think if there was a desire to do that, the best thing to do would be to open that dialogue early and say, here's what we're using the money for, we're going to generate income, and even if it's not 100%, can you engage in some kind of splitting procedure, or maybe like a repayment, where if they're giving you $100,000 to do something, and you're going to give them 10% of the revenue generated until you repay the $100,000 back. Like I said, I think every official in this county would love to see
Yeah, well,
development and income generation, but they don't want to encourage and incentivize political subdivisions to use community development money
yeah.
to find creative ways, like starting.
So our idea floating around about a skating rink or something on the bottom of the land down there is kind of, we have to remember to go that extra step to what the commissioner is saying, that's what we're doing.
Or funded by other means. I mean, it's only for the money that you're using with respect to expenditure of program income. So if you're funding it yourself or through some other means, it's not as though every money-making endeavor that the village enters into is now gonna have some claw that comes in and takes it. It's going to be, if you use their money for the development, then have the dialogue with them. But even during the application process that would lead up to you getting the money, I mean, those conversations would probably take place, you know, regardless. It'd just be one more piece of the application process moving towards it.
Where, did you see where it was passed?
Thank you.
All I see is
Never
your
found
street.
it.
Well, Hazel, you should remember from being at the CDBG meetings, we don't qualify anyhow.
Oh, we're working on that.
There's a
Remember?
new,
Well, the census is what goes to it.
there's a new census though.
Had no questions about income on it, did it?
I don't know, I refuse to promote. No, I.
Not one question about income, on it. So how are they gonna
We
change
should
it?
not have
It's just
been.
based on the number of people.
You know what they did? They called so many people.
Low to
on
moderate
about it.
income is what goes.
Yeah, they tried to use your
They
IRS
just
file.
called-
Should not have been put in the
Since this guy showed up at my house Saturday night at like 8 o'clock at night.
You offered him a beer back
I
then?
did, yeah, we did, yeah. Was back in the shanty, had a fire going.
That's it.
Done.